I'm Bill.
And I'm Cammie.
And we are Be Awesome Homes.
Here in Lincoln, Nebraska, powered by
Keller Williams.
Woo.
And today we're talking about moving and time.
It's moving time, Lincoln.
These are kind of some observations, some recommendations, and just some general thoughts on the moving process. So the first thing I think we want to talk about is planning the move. And when's the best time to do that? Well, a lot of people plan the move right after they get their home under contract, and you probably want to start a little bit sooner than that. The amount of time that goes into a move, it's a very lengthy process, it's very energy intensive, and so the earlier you start planning that, the better. And if you think about it, if you're putting your home on the market, your intention is to move out anyway, so why not figure out what that's going to look like? A lot of folks just say, well, let's just get to the contract first and get a buyer, and we'll worry about the rest later. So the more ahead of time you plan this stuff, the better. This process is going to take more time than you think it's going to take.
It's going to take more time than you think it's going to take, and then it's going to take more time than that.
Thought number two is you're taking on a time commitment, right? You've got, the job, maybe you got kids, family, you're planning meals, you're keeping the house clean, you go to work, you gotta have your normal life, and now you have this other new part-time job that you've taken on, maybe at least for the next 15 to 30 days.
Maybe a full-time job.
Probably a full-time job.
Because you're touching thousands of things that you own. You have to organize, you have to do all this stuff. So
what are the things that is appropriate to give up during that short amount of time? Right?
Plan that month.
What are the things that are going to yield you back the energy and time? A couple thoughts that come to my mind immediately is, if you spend a couple hours a week working out, I'm not a big fan of ditching your workout regimen by any means. When you're moving, you're actually expending a tremendous amount of energy, and it's a workout of a different kind.
It is a workout.
So that's kind of one of the first things that comes to mind is maybe we put that on hold. Another thing is that, obviously takes a lot of time is, meal planning and making sure your family gets fed. And nobody wants to eat fast food for 2 weeks, but there are plenty of other options that are healthier than, burgers and fries all the time. But being able to get that hour or two of meal planning time back, every, maybe you spend an hour cooking every day, and maybe you get that back in the process. So those are just some ideas. What are the things that are reasonable to give up during the process?
It's also not a great time, like if you're going to be moving, there may be events going on. There's graduation, somebody's having a birthday party, there's other obligations at work, there's all kinds of things. It might be a good time to already plan ahead, to not overbook, overschedule yourself, and allow yourself that leeway that, this is a month or 2 months that I am, devoted to myself, because you add those things on and it really can become a bit overwhelming. So give yourself a break about that.
Number three, don't procrastinate, obviously. It's easy to find all kinds of other things that need your attention. Those things may or may not actually need your attention. We always need to take time to appreciate how big the task is.
You have to give yourself some downtime. You've got to try to find some things that you can enjoy. And sometimes that workout, it can be a release, or, just sitting on the couch and vegging, whatever it might be for you. But it's a good time to, you might have to actually schedule that so you don't just get to the burnout stage and that's all you can do. Because we have seen clients become ill by pushing themselves too much, extremely anxiety ridden. We don't want that for anybody. We want smooth transactions. And on the other end, as real estate agents, handling the transaction, handling the time frame. For everything that's happening in the transaction, and it's your job to handle your time frame and how you're able to best process and be as stress-free as possible.
So that brings us to point 6, and that is finding help with moving and packing. A lot of folks skip the idea of hiring movers. Movers can be pretty costly, but it's definitely something to look at. I've met buyers that rule out the possibility of hiring movers, simply because movers can be very pricey. And at the end of the day, you really have to look at what your time is worth, because movers will do what you do so that you can save your energy, and they also do it much, much faster.
Yes.
Always consider at least, grabbing some bids from some movers. No matter how big or small the move might be, it can really save you a lot of time and energy, and ultimately that really helps. Because at the beginning of the process, you have a lot of time and energy, but by the end of the process, which is when your movers would show up, you are out of time and usually out of a lot of energy, and that's usually a really great time to have other people take over and just pick up a bunch of stuff and move it for you. So that can be a real rewarding decision. Obviously family delegation and asking friends I have a lot of friends who will work for beer and pizza to help people move, and maybe you do too.
Yeah.
That's another thing to
It's
consider.
a good time to ask for help, but ask for it ahead of time.
Way
Get
ahead of
something
time.
planned. And also, we're going to give a little bump here. We have gone down to the mission on quite a few occasions and hired a couple of people to help. And it's an excellent resource of people who are willing to work, happy to work, and you get a lot of man hours done in a shorter amount of time. A lot can get done.
Absolutely.
A lot can get done, and we've always been really pleased.
And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, we'll post the number to the men's shelter in the description below, and our contact over there that we usually contact. Number 7.
Number 7 should be number 1 because it is about your possessions.
Yeah,
and the
it's-
many thousands of things that you have to touch and look at.
There's a lot of stuff. People own a lot of stuff.
Trucks
And
full of stuff.
you may think you know how much stuff you own, but you don't
No.
until you touch all of it.
No.
And even then, it's a little mind-boggling. So, Cammie, you have an interesting take on this idea.
It's
of
not something I
stuff.
came up with. It's something I'd seen on the internet, and I've tried to utilize it myself or share that to encourage clients when they're packing. You're paring down your possessions. You know, we have a lot of stuff we don't need. 1, 2, and 3. I pick something up. I love this thing. That's a number 1. Goes here. I pick something up. I don't know. Maybe I put it here. Number 3, I haven't touched this. I don't know what this is. That goes away. And, you know, if we can just start paring those things down, that can be done way before you move. That can be done today in your home, whether you're moving or not. But when it comes to moving, you know, being able to do that and then finding places to donate the things.
Outside of, you know, obviously calling the mission, dropping stuff off at Goodwill, Salvation Army will pick up items as well. If you want to make a little bit of extra cash, if that figures into your plan and you have the time to do that, and that will take extra time. I'm a huge fan of Lincoln Dollar Auction's Facebook group. We'll post a link for that in the description below. Lincoln Dollar Auction, you post a picture, quick description, approximate area of town, your timestamp, and 24 hours later, you usually have bids. Now, maybe you only get $1 for it, but it takes 5 seconds to take a picture on your phone and post it. You can make a little bit of cash on the side. It's kind of like a garage sale, except you don't really have to get all your stuff and put it out and sit around and wait for people to show up. You just throw it online. It's a beautiful thing, and I've gotten rid of a lot of my stuff on Lincoln Dollar Auction. So I'm a huge fan of that if you're trying to get rid of stuff and make a little money on the side. I want to give a bump to HIS Auto Care.
Yes,
and,
on 70th and Van Dorn.
They're also a U-Haul distributor, and this is usually where we go to grab trucks for our clients. These guys have always been really easy to work with, and we'll go ahead and put their information in the description below as well.
If you're looking to move, if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to purchase, what do?
That's easy.
Oh, okay.
You just call us. So we have this new YouTube channel. Before we leave, we should probably ask people to subscribe to it.
We just started. So,
Yep. So, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I'm Cammie,
I'm Bill.
and we are
Be
Awesome Homes.
Powered by Keller Williams.
and we are helping Lincoln buy, sell, and thrive.
Remember when we used to do boring stuff for a living? Like we'd be in our office chairs and be like, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop.